But my question relates to, I may be fairly unique. I'm now put into a position where I have to find a doctor. And I wonder if you have advice for someone, and usually looking for a doctor, you just start out, you need somebody to write prescriptions because you have to go periodically get your prescriptions renewed. Do you have advice for how to go about finding a doctor?
Yeah, we could talk about that. I think that's a very important and interesting thing, and it's also a very changing thing. When I was in practice, our office of 4 internists took care of people regardless of where they were or where we were, day or night, 7 days a week, in the hospital, nursing home, out of the hospital, whatever. Doctors don't do that anymore. Doctors work 9 to 5 and go home to their families. Doctors don't take telephone calls. Doctors don't do house calls. So we have an entirely different system. Now, how you pick a doctor depends upon your insurance plan. And many people, and all of us, have Medicare. And the supplemental plans, many of them are what are called Medicare Advantage. And these Advantage plans are like HMOs, where the HMO hires a group of doctors or individual doctors into a group, and you are assigned, or you pick a doctor from the group. Now let's take Secure Horizons as an example. You Secure Horizons, you pick a doctor from the group, you go to that doctor, that's your primary doctor. If you want to see a specialist, you have to have a referral from your primary doctor to their specialist. And that requires medical necessity. And if your desire to see the doctor is not a medical necessity, they will not authorize it. And so you can't see a specialist outside of your plan. Now there's other insurance plans that are called PPOs, which means you can go to any doctor you want to. So you go to a primary doctor, and you need to be referred to a specialist, and he refers you to it, and you go. You have to rely upon your primary doctor to be knowledgeable about your condition and who in the community or even outside of the community is the most appropriate person to treat you. When I was in practice, the most important thing that I did was to refer people to the right doctor the first time, so they didn't have to go to 2 or 3 to solve a problem which could be solved by 1. If I had a person who needed their gallbladder out, I sent them to the best surgeon who did gallbladders. If they needed to have their kidney out or their stomach out, we sent them to somebody else. We didn't use the same doctor to do all the things to do, because doctors are really good when they do the same thing all the time. All right, so you now have a PPO, you've got a problem, you go to your primary doctor, refers you to a specialist, you're not happy with the specialist. Okay, then you have to pick out what to do after that. And then I think you go and think about tertiary systems. What's a tertiary system? Well, Scripps, for example. Scripps has private clinics where the primary doctor sees the patient. They have places where the specialist resides, such as at Encinitas. But if you really have a problem, they'll send you down to La Jolla, where they have their super specialists. And that's how you do it. Now you can go to Scripps, you can go to UCSD, you can go to MD Anderson in Houston, you can go to the Mayo Clinic, you can go wherever you want. But the more serious your problem and the more special your problem, because it's rare, the higher up in the system you have to go. And what you need is advice from the people down below who've had experience with the people up above. I hope that answers your question. It's very, very difficult nowadays, because you're going to get, let's say, for example, you call up the assisted living and say, well, I'm having a problem. And they said, well, we gotta get the ambulance. So they take you to the ambulance and you go to the hospital. Maybe they'll see you in urgent care. That's a certain set of doctors. Maybe they'll see you in emergency. That's another set of doctors. Let's say you come to emergency, they say you need to be admitted to the hospital. You go into the hospital. Is your primary doctor going to see you? No. Who's going to see you? A person called a hospitalist who does nothing but work in the hospital and then goes home. And you're going to see the same doctor in the hospital if you're in there a week? Oh, no. You're probably going to see 3 hospitalists because they all don't work every day. I had a bad experience with my brother-in-law in Kaiser. He was in the hospital with a malignant tumor of his colon with metastases in his abdomen. And every Friday, he got a new doctor that never saw him before, knew nothing about him, but he got a new doctor every Friday. It was a very bad experience. That's the way the system is now. You have to live with the system.
Is it less satisfying for doctors to practice?
Absolutely less satisfying. More time off, more time with your family, more vacation time, but not very satisfactory when they see you in the office and they think they know what your problem is, they ship you off, and they come back to you, and you'll be damn lucky if you got the information from these other people, unless they have a computerized system, which a lot of people still don't have. So it's very unsatisfactory. On the other hand, if you've got a really serious problem, you really want the best person who knows about this serious problem to be handling it. And that's why we have oncology clinics, we have oncology hospitals, orthopedic hospitals, cardiac hospitals, psychiatric hospitals, all kinds of places, because we're all fragmented now.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody does everything like we used to.
Thank you.
Charles.
I'd like to go back to your reference
Yeah.
as to where you should go to get the best answer. And you mentioned Scripps. Is that because they have a better research department? Or?
Well, they have everything. Scripps has everything. They have clinics in the neighborhoods. They have Encinitas Hospital, which is good. But they have Scripps Hospital in La Jolla, which is better. And they also have Green, too. The Green Hospital. And so, well, I guess the best way I can tell you is when I go see the eye doctor, I see 5 people. I see the eye doctor, I see the eyelid doctor, I see the cornea doctor, I see the glaucoma doctor, I see the retinal doctor, I see the laser specialist. It's fragmented. It's fragmented because it's so specialized. And it has to be that way if you have a very difficult problem. It's the old Mayo Clinic style. You go to the Mayo Clinic, they take you in, they run you from head to toe, and ship you off to 5 different specialists till they really find out what's wrong with you.
Yeah, that's the answer I wanted to hear.
Yeah, Cleveland Clinic is good too.
Are the hospitalists as popular as they were?
Hospitalists are popular with the hospital administration. They are not.
Growing in number now?
Yes, they are.
Because I had an experience with one at Scripps, it was an Eagles, ordered medication for me just before I was discharged. And I said, no, I can't take that.
Yeah, that's.
They fought with people. I said, no, and finally got the doctor from La Jolla to call them and tell them.
Sure.
That's where that's the hard part of that. You don't know about the hospital.
That's right. You don't know them, and if you see 2 or 3 of them in the course of a week, nobody really knows you. The only person who really knows you, if you've been going long enough, is your primary doctor. Okay. Come on, guys. Got a little bit more time.
Will a broken toe mend itself?
Yes, a broken toe will mend itself if you tape it to the next toe.
Yeah.
Take a piece of adhesive tape and tape it to the next toe.
and then you can still walk.
Oh, you gotta walk with cane. You should walk gingerly with your cane. Or maybe one of our famous walkers. No, those will, they take time. The older you are, the longer it takes. That's just like it is. Yes?
You were talking about doctors, and some of the ones is called VIP doctors. They
Yes.
only take so many patients.
Yeah, well,
I find them very good.
yes, that's excellent. If you have the money and you can afford it, then you put the doctor on retainer. You pay him $2,000 or $3,000 a year, and the doctor promises he will answer your telephone call personally, anytime you call, day or night. He will be available to you every day of the week. You can get an appointment the same day. In other words, he's going to treat you like a VIP. Now, is that good? That's excellent if you have the money to do it and you get a good internist. And why interns? Because the interns can get to know you very well. And then if you have a problem, he has a stable of specialists that he can send you to that he trusts. And I think you can trust what he does because of your relationship with him in this manner. So I think it works fine if you have the money. But everybody doesn't have the money. And it's a way for the doctor to get away from the HMO type of practice where the insurance company is telling him what he can and can't do and how much they're going to pay him. So it works for some people. If you get into big trouble, the internist doctor who does that kind of thing is going to send you to a very good place with very good people. But you're still going to run into the same problems that we talked about once you get in an institution.